Hello and welcome to Not One Right Way, the podcast. It's me, your co-host, Melissa Manuel, she, her, and
It's me, your other co-host, Marve Medawaki-Nyaga, they, them, theirs.
how are you, Marv?
I'm riding a high that I cannot explain to you unless you felt it.
OMG, I'm so glad you're riding a high. I'm also riding a high.
Yeah. The semester is so close to ending. Commencement is around the corner. I can feel the students leaving. And then there will be peace.
I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, it's going to be so quiet, and that's a little sad. But it also means my inbox will be empty, you know?
Yeah. That you're gonna have such peace at work. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
That's not
Great.
the high I'm experiencing, but similar blissful stuff.
Okay. Can you describe it to me?
It's a combination of I did just go on a lovely trip and visit a bunch of my friends. The friendship tour. Lovely. Got to spend some really great time with myself and people I love. And also I'm writing again, which is great. I haven't written in years, but having a great time. So that's been really wonderful. So very good. Feeling great. I don't know why, but it's been keeping me going.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about what you're writing? You don't have to.
I don't know if I should say this on the podcast because if people find it and then message me, but no one's ever messaged me from the podcast, but I am writing a fanfic on AO3, and that's all I'll say. If you want to go and dig for it, go and dig for it.
Yeah. I'm not going to comment because I know how easy it is to find. And if I give away any details, somebody similarly as AO3 pilled as me will find it.
Yeah. I did hit 1,000 hits today, and I was so proud of myself. I was like, wow, the community has accepted me, I think.
They've accepted you. They needed your work. They want your work.
Maybe that one. I don't know if they needed it. There's plenty. But yeah, feeling great.
Lovely.
What have you been watching?
I started watching The Pursuit of Jade. That's pretty good. C-drama on Netflix. I'm also watching Demons of the Shadow Realm, which I told you a little bit about. That one I think I'm a little more excited about. Oh my god, a saucy little story about family drama, and then there's also magic. And also it's just really pretty. The magic is so sparkly. I can't get over it.
Sounds great. Is this an animated show?
It is anime. It is, yes.
Okay. Sounds great. Some pretty magic. That sounds awesome. I'll have to check it out. I have been watching the new season of Hacks, the final season. This show is so... If you love LA, if you love the art of making art, it's kind of just I'm such a slut for all of that. So it's very much that. And the idea of platonic love and the love that Ava Daniels and Deborah Vance have for each other is so delicious. I love their love. And it's messy, but it's not romantic or sexual, but it's deep and they need each other. And this final season is really beautiful and I'm just obsessed.
Okay.
I'm sad to see it go, but I'm glad it ended on their terms, not just canceled.
Yeah.
It's a rare gift in this economy.
Yeah. If we rewound the tape to last year, I would have also heard you talking about Hacks.
Yeah. I love Hacks. I really do. It's so good.
I think it was also this time last year.
And I probably said the exact same thing last year. It's about the love of creation. It's so good.
Yeah.
But speaking of loving creating things, I think our guest today might have something to say about that based on how wonderful their work is. Everyone, please give a warm welcome to Kris Mukai, a writer and storyboard artist.
Yay. Hello. Yay. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
I'm desperate to know what your fanfic is for. I
Okay.
have to know. And I don't use
Yes.
AO3 that often, so I'm like,
I will
I'm sitting here
censor
and I'm
that.
like, I'll never be able to find it on my own.
I'm gonna censor it. It's not gonna get on the air. Fic.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
It's it lives in my head, not rent.
Are
Very
you going
expensive.
to see the theatrical release of the How many tickets do you have, Melissa? Is it enough?
It's at least 5 times. I've bought 5 different screenings.
Whoa!
I'm very excited. It's both because I love The Amazing Digital Circus and the thought of supporting an indie animated show in theaters is so I have to.
Yeah.
So, I've bought tickets with multiple different friends and also once just by myself. So, I'm normal.
Didn't get a chance to get tickets. I think they sold out too fast. And I'm also not
Yeah.
I'm not like caught up on the show either. I need to like sit down and watch the rest of the season. But when they announced that I was going to be in theaters, I was like, oh, the vibes in that crowd are probably going to be amazing.
That's what I look forward to the most. It's
Yeah.
gonna be so cool. Hey, I've got tickets.
And we do live in the same area. So
I'm
this is
saying
true.
if you need a ticket, I got you.
Yeah.
Can get you a ticket.
You have a ticket in Burbank. Aren't we going to see it in Burbank?
Got a ticket in Burbank. I've got a ticket in Alhambra. I've got a ticket in Pasadena. I've got a ticket at this locally owned, Black-owned theater in I don't remember where, but I have an extra ticket to that one that no one has claimed yet if you're interested.
Maybe we will talk after. Do
Anyway.
you guys like rowdy theater experiences?
I love it.
Yeah, same.
It's my preferred. I don't like when everyone's quiet. Let's
Yeah.
enjoy this together.
Yeah.
I like going with someone who's gonna like talk throughout the whole movie.
Me and Melissa watching a film together can't be stopped.
We're loud. We have so much to say.
Did we end up watching The House of Gucci together?
We sure did.
Oh my god.
In theaters.
In theaters.
We were so loud.
You were so loud. That moment when she sucks his dick in the boat, I remember we were both just like, like,
Like, some people probably came to see The House of Gucci because Lady Gaga was in it and they're, like, really interested, but we were there because it was campy and it was ridiculous, and we were reacting appropriately.
Yeah. I'm writing down watch House of Gucci.
you
Watch
know,
it with
you
some
too.
friends.
Yeah.
Just a little not sober if you're into that, but definitely watch it loud.
Yeah. And then you'll also be like, I'm sorry, in the boat?
Yeah, yeah. I'll
In
be
the
like
boat.
texting you both like in the boat.
There's so many choices that Lady Gaga makes in that film that you're just like, "Why?
Yeah.
Why?" It's a great movie. Marv, would you like to start us off?
Yes. So I gave you a little bit of my background. I have a very serious job when I'm not telling students to get in my office. I'm usually talking to them about some of the hardest moments in their life, and it's very vulnerable and it requires a lot of trust. So that's sort of the energy that I bring to this podcast. I'm going to ask you a hard, vulnerable question.
Okay.
Okay.
Like sweating.
If you could live in a fantasy world from a book or movie or show, what world would you like to live in?
Whoa, there's so many options. There's so many possibilities. That is a really hard question. I just finished reading this book called The Works of Vermin. Are you familiar with it? It's kind of new. I think it came out last year, and it is sort of like this fantasy, like I've just been calling it rot punk because the story takes place on this giant rotting tree stump, and everything's like goopy and growing and molding and decaying. And the story is about like exterminators, like bug exterminators. and they have to fight these horrible bugs that, like, will sting them, and then, like, the sting of the bug sort of, like, if it doesn't kill you, it sort of manifests in this weird, like, you're, like, experiencing art in a different way, and, like, one of the characters is a perfumer, so she, like, makes perfume that sort of alters people's perception of who you are. So people in this city wear perfume as, like, an armor, and that I just, like, the world was so, like, gross and uncomfortable, but it was, like, described so vividly that I just got, like, so excited by it, and I was, like, drawing fan art, and I was like, I can't," and I was, like, drawing, and I was like, "I'm not a good enough, drafts person to, like, put on paper what I'm seeing in my mind," so I don't I feel like I
Wow.
would live there even though I probably wouldn't last that long because there's, like, these giant bugs everywhere.
Yeah.
I'd probably last about a week and then kick the bucket.
I
That's me in
think
any fantasy world.
I think this brings up an important question. Are exterminators our modern day knights? Is there some sort of valorous, chivalric code that they're upholding for us?
I mean, I think
Well,
so, 'cause they're getting in there, and they're
And then
fighting
there
the demons that I'm not gonna get
I'm not
cau
brave enough
I
to
can't
fight.
fight the ice.
yeah.
Our house
Like,
has,
no.
like, no, like, ceiling, so we're always getting spiders in the house, you know? It's like California, the bugs just get in, so
Yeah.
every once in a while, I'll just be like, "Oh, that's the biggest spider I've ever seen." I'm like, "Arlen?" Just, like, calling for my partner.
Well, so no ceiling? Like, you just got the sky or just metaphorically?
Just well, in my house?
Great question.
The house does have a ceiling. It's
Okay,
not
okay.
it's not very
It's
there's just
there, but it's
holes
not
everywhere.
keeping the spiders out.
Yeah. They figure it out. They're smart little guys.
So, Marv, where would you go in if you could go to a fantasy world?
I am saying this because I need to justify my answer. Because I've been asked this question and I gave an answer. I've been asked this question twice in a very short time span. And the answers I gave were not, people had issue, which is hilarious.
It's a little
I said
build up.
Hunger Games.
Hunger Games?
Ooh. Well,
Do you have inner
then you
rage?
That's the thing. I think it is.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a need to watch an empire burn in me. And I need to see it in my generation. I need to see it with my own eyes. Like, we need to take the empire down. Its machinations are killing us. All convention is a brutality against who we are and the very notion of humankind.
Wow. So would you volunteer?
Would I volunteer? No, I would die. Look at me. Look at my tiny little hands. You can't see it, but my hands are very small. Like, pen for reference.
Whoa, that's biggest pen I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I can't hold a weapon. I'm so soft everywhere. Like,
for context, when I was a film major in college, I had to shoot a scene of
no,
people running,
no,
and I asked
no.
Marv to be the runner, and I couldn't speed up the footage fast enough. And it just looked like they were fast walking.
You would be the last of the cornucopia.
I would be the last.
They wouldn't make it to the
It
cornucopia.
would be
I
empty.
wouldn't. I would not even be the fastest person to volunteer. It's the truth. Like, I'm still just like,
But there
and
were
so
other
it's already up.
skills that were needed. Like, I vividly remember whenever, like, camouflage was, camouflage. You need
dexterous hands to do that good camouflage. That was very vital, wasn't it?
Yeah, PETA. That's how PETA survived.
True.
Soft boy PETA.
I remember that, and I remember like the soup, the like drone delivered soup.
Yeah. I very surprised by your answer, but at the same time, it makes sense for you as a person. Crazy take.
I just needed to say it so that I could give the explanation without it being a thing and not in front of my coworkers, you know?
I mean, your coworkers don't have to live. They're asking you. They shouldn't have a say in this answer.
True.
So fair.
I've been thinking about this, and my first thought immediately was like, obviously Percy Jackson. But then I was like, well, that's just this world. So that's kind of boring. But I want to be a demigod so bad.
Yeah.
But then your answer, Kris, made me think of one of my favorite books, which is called The Night Circus, which has this traveling magic circus. And if I could live in that reality where it's this beautiful magic circus that shows up in your town, and you can just go for a night, and all the tents are just kind of like TARDISes where they're bigger on the inside. And it has that same idea where the things they describe in the book are so beautifully detailed, and like sometimes I can still smell the popcorn from the book and taste the things. And I would love to just live in that world and follow the circus around, like the fanatics in it, and just be like, I want to live in the night circus for the rest of my life. It's one of my favorite books. That would be one. Very low stakes, wouldn't die, just 1800s following this magic circus around. Very chill. Because a lot of fantasy worlds, I'd be dead.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah, you'd outlive both of us.
Yeah.
And just know, I also have really tiny hands, pen for scale.
Again, another huge pen. That's crazy.
Well, let's move on to the next part of our show where we learn all about Kris. Will you share with us and the listeners a little bit about you? Can you share the story of your origins and if you knew art was always going to be your path, or did you have a different dream?
Oh, I do think I knew very early on that I wanted to do art and be involved in art making. I remember being in like a hotel room and like seeing like the Tenchi Muyo movie just like on this like a channel that I would never have at home, and they were just playing Tenchi Muyo, and I just remember like watching it and being like, this is it. This is where it's at. And so, yeah, I mean, I was like really obsessed with anime and manga when I was a kid. And I got started drawing comics like pretty much as soon as possible. I remember like Tokyo Pop used to do these like manga competitions, like the Rising Stars of Manga editions. I don't know how well known they are right now, but I just remember being obsessed with those and being like, I could do this. I could draw comics like this. Yeah, and then I drew a lot of comics in high school. I was sharing them online. I met a lot of like other comic artists online. And then I also grew up in Maryland, so I like would go to Otakon every year like growing up, and like I'd meet people in the artist alley who were like tabling and selling their stuff and selling their original comics. And I think that's what kickstarted me to being like, this is something that I could do myself. And so when I went to art school, I was involved in the like the manga club and the comic club, and we, just spent all of our time like making comics and then like using the school budget to like publish them, because like you're a school club and they give you some sort of budget. So we would just make these like anthologies every year, and then we would try to table at like SPX or Mocha or different like comics and zine fairs and stuff. And that's how I met more people in the animation world.
And that's kind of how I got involved doing animation stuff was like, yeah, Cartoon Network was hiring a lot of cartoonists at that time because they wanted people who could write and draw. So I was seeing a lot of friends moving out here and I was doing like tests and stuff for shows out here. And then I finally got hired on We Bear Bears, and that's when I moved out here. And that's what I've been doing ever since. And I still try to draw comics whenever I can. So I don't know. I think that's like my origin story is that I just drew a lot of comics and then I ended up in an industry where you're not really drawing comics, but you're drawing like things that move. So it's like it's really crazy to be like, whoa, this like comic is moving. Like,
Make it move.
whoa. You know?
Cartoons are just fancier comics, I guess, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Gonna dial back. When did you start getting into Rizzo printing amidst the comics?
That was probably when I went to art school. I went to Pratt Institute in Brooklyn, and there was I studied communication design, which is like illustration. It was like this combined degree that was like illustration, advertising, and graphic design all together. So like print was part of that curriculum. So there was like a print lab there, and I worked in the print lab for a little bit. And at the print lab, we had a risograph machine, and there was also, I took a zine making class. And in the zine making class, that's where everyone like learned how to use the machine and like learned how to like print off editions of their zines and stuff. So that is when I heard about it for the first time and learned how to use it. And then later I like got my own machine and have just kind of kept, I mean, honestly, I don't do the printing very much anymore. Like my partner pretty much, he's like really good at, because this thing breaks. I'm looking behind me because it's like, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's like just, it's behind us. It's from,
Oh, there it is.
there it is.
Wow.
My big girl. But yeah, they break pretty constantly. So you have to have a lot of like fortitude. to- you gotta take everything out and you gotta put it back together again. So, and when I was working, because I'd be working full time at the animation studios, so I kind of fell off doing the printing stuff, and Arlen picked it up.
I was asking because I saw that you guys started Creature Hour,
Mm-hmm.
your little shop.
Mm-hmm.
Was that when you were in college, or was this after?
I think I forget when we did it, but it's kind of more recent. We just like, we used to table at zine shows and stuff more often, and then sort of fell off over the years, and now we're kind of coming back to it. So we just needed like a nice like web shop, just something that had like everything that we had on it, especially because Arlen, like, he has a Patreon where he sends out a postcard every month. So he's making a new risograph piece pretty much every month. And we just had like a lot, a lot of work. Most of it is his work. We just needed like a really nice place to put it. So he made the website and organized that all. And I think it looks really good.
It does.
Is
look
that
great.
what the 2026 birds is? Like monthly bird postcard? Sorry.
The 2026 birds is a calendar that I drew in like a couple months. Like I think I started it in October, November, and then printed it and was selling it in December. So I wasn't drawing them every month. I just kind of drew like 12 of them all at once, and it was like a marathon. So that's that calendar is just like all of my bird drawings, but I do like I'm trying to make one for next year, 2027, and I'm trying to get like a earlier start on it so I don't feel like I'm like cramming it all in like 2 months or so. But yeah, would you be interested in a bird a month? Like
I'm
Yeah.
very interested.
I don't think I'd say no.
My wall's pretty empty, and I think it's open and available for a cool bird calendar.
for some birds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested. But that's awesome. because I took a Rizzo printing class, and I understand that it's a complex art. So you and your partner's work is really stunning. The
Oh,
colors
Thank
are
you. Thank you.
so nice.
Yeah,
And
he's
I
like,
heard
oh, go ahead.
Melissa describe it to me over the phone, and that was difficult. And then I also read your little comic, and I was like, "What?" So, deeply appreciative of the people that can produce that art, the creatives behind it.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, when I was in art school, I took a lot of screen printing classes, and I think if you have, foundational screen printing knowledge, it's a little easier to understand because you're already kind of thinking in layers of color. But it's such a funny machine because it's not like the company that produces it like doesn't condone like the art making of like use of it. It's a machine that
So
is
funny.
not built to make art. It's a machine that was built to make like copies and flyers for schools or churches or like these big institutions that need, 100 copies of a memo that's going to go to everybody in the department and that kind of thing. So the fact that we're like making art with it and like books and zines and stuff, it's like kind of funny that it's like I get the vibe that they're like, we can't like, you're not using it the right way.
Yeah. Don't put our name on that.
And yet we persist.
And yet, yeah.
It's so pretty. It's their
But
fault for making it so pretty.
but I mean, it's our fault. Like, it's our fault that we're the ones that is making the machine break because we are technically using it improperly, and so of course it's not. It's like, please lay off. I just want to make 100 copies in one color.
Yeah. I'm going to pivot a little bit to your turn into working in animation. Can you talk about what that was like going from being a comics artist to now learning how to storyboard and write for TV? What was that journey like for you?
It was really interesting, especially because the first show that I wrote for was Adventure Time. So that is, you get a really sparse outline for the episode. So you're kind of like making a lot of the dialogue and story choices by yourself. And that, I mean, I felt comfortable doing that because that's all of what, the comic art, my own comic work is just stories that I'm telling myself. So the writing aspect of it felt very comfortable and just felt like a good direction. The animation part of it, I feel like I had so much to learn. But like I remember thinking like the biggest issue that I had trouble with doing storyboards was like in comics, you do a panel and then another panel, and there's a lot of action in between those two panels that, your brain it just kind of understands. But in storyboardings, you really, you really have to draw them like picking up the cup, lifting the cup, putting it to their mouth, drinking the water. And I just remember being like, this is too much. Like, can't we just draw them drinking from the cup? And it's like, no, you need your hookup poses. You need your antics. You need an A and B pose.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. It's the things you don't think about, you take for granted when you're watching, but every movement was thoughtfully drawn out.
Yeah. Someone's got to think about how they get from that A to B pose. And then the other thing was, let's see, I kind of started animation during a funny time because the Adventure Time episodes I did were all done on paper. So we were drawing them on paper, drawing them with like sticky notes. And I think like early regular show was also like this. And then when I moved out to California, it was kind of the start of everyone using like Storyboard Pro to do storyboards. So that was like another learning experience, was like, okay, I got to like learn this program. It was like a early program, so it felt like every year there was like something new that they changed or like some big major like bug that everybody had to deal with at one point or another. But I mean, I think that wasn't too bad. I'm trying to think of other stuff. I think the writing room was when I pivoted into the writing room, that was a bit more of a challenge because, like I'm like a cartoonist who likes to sit and draw alone for hours and hours. And then when you're in a writer's room, you're like sitting in a room in front of a bunch of other people and you have to like verbally explain this thing that you're thinking about in your mind. And I remember thinking like, God, if I could just draw it, like just give me 30 minutes and I'll draw it. And then like people will understand what I'm talking about. But like no one has that, like that would be crazy. Like no one has time to sit there while you draw something for 30 minutes. So like you just have to like, I remember thinking like, okay, just to get really good at like making myself understood. Like, yeah, I have to get really good at like interrupting people and like just being like, no, yeah, it's like this scene in this movie that you've already seen,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Was it like learning how to advocate for your ideas and speaking up and just I've never been in a writer's room, so I'm imagining just kind of how it is portrayed in TV where it's just everyone kind of arguing over each other.
It's not so much arguing, but it is like you like I remember like you have to like I'm an introvert and I just had to learn how to be an extrovert because that was how like that's just how it goes. Like you can't like just like sit there quietly for like the whole meeting, like taking notes and stuff. You have to like contribute. You have to be like, listen to me, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm very like, I don't know, that was like that felt like a big hurdle. Yeah, I don't know. Talking hard. Drawing, not bad. Talking hard.
So, what was that specific transition moment like when you were going into the writing room?
I was on Bears and I was a revisionist on Bears. And then I was a storyboard artist on a different show on Summer Camp Island. And then Bears asked me to come back as a storyboard artist. And I was like, I don't think I like was literally like, I don't think I'm like good enough to storyboard on this show because the show is like very demanding for board artists. And I remember being like, I don't know if I could handle this. And then, so I said no. And then Mikey and Daniel asked me if I would come in and do like a test run in the writer's room. And so I did a week that was sort of like a test run, just like see how it was, like how did I handle the characters and, bouncing ideas off and stuff like that. And then at the end of the week, they were like, just come in on Monday and you'll be the third writer. And I was like, holy cow. And I remember like leaving the producer's office and like immediately like running into like a glass display case that had all these like We Bare Bears toys in it. And I was like, oh. And she was like, it's fine, just go. And I was like, just go. Just I'll see you on Monday. I was like, okay. So but yeah,
That's amazing.
I was like really, yeah, I was so happy. I loved that writer's room. That was probably the best job I've ever had.
Wow.
We Bare Bears is such a wonderful show. Do you have a favorite? I guess it's a hard question, but do you have a favorite episode that you got to write?
For We Bare Bears, oh, it's tough because it's been so long. We did sort of like a Smokey the Bear parody episode called Fire that I just
Fire?
remember. I was like,
Is that
this
the
is so
episode
funny.
with the flashback with Grizz where he like hugs the guy's arm?
Oh, that's Burrito. That's like I think that's a earlier. I don't think I was in the room for that one, but that's
That one's so
also
sad.
a great episode.
I haven't rewatched it in a minute, but I do love We Bare Bears.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember one of the ones to stick with me. Do you know anyone, or did you write on the episode Tote Life, the one with the tote bags?
No, that's a earlier one. I think Bert Yoon like storyboarded that one, and I have like a pin of Grizz holding like an enamel pin of Grizz holding all these tote bags. And it's just like drawn exactly like how Bert drew it. And I was like, I love that.
That's amazing.
I really liked that show because I felt like I could recognize everybody's storyboards when the final animation
Mhm.
came back. And I'd be like, oh yeah, this is like a Tom episode. This is like a Bert episode. Like, yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah. It's such a nice slice of life show. And then what did you do on Summer Camp Island?
I was a storyboard artist on that. Yeah, I think I did like 3 episodes, I think. So not too long. Yeah.
Looking at your IMDb, it was 3 episodes.
You have it pulled up right now?
Yeah.
Awesome.
R.I.P. Summer Camp Island. Nowhere to be found on streaming.
Oh
no.
no.
HBO Max took down, and I'll never forgive them.
Oh man. Yeah, they're doing it dirty.
Because sometimes it was one of my comfort go-tos. I was
Yeah.
like, sometimes I just want to go to Summer Camp Island.
Yeah, I love the theme for Summer Camp Island. And I feel like
Magic is real here, far away from home.
I feel like I would just like walk around the house like with that stuck in my head.
Yeah. Gentle. You have to work on a lot of very gentle little Cartoon Network magic-y shows.
Yeah, I'm very lucky.
And then your more recent project, Fiona and Cake, what was that experience like?
That was great. I was not really expecting to do 3 episodes because originally I was just filling in for somebody, and then it sort of ended up being filling in for a couple more people for a couple more episodes, and I mean that experience was so great because like I was working with Adam Muto again, and he's the one that got me into animation because he was the person that brought me onto the original Adventure Time episodes that I storyboarded. And it was also just like really nice because my board partner for two of the episodes was Hannah Neustrom, and then my board partner for the 3rd episode was Anna Syvertson. And I had met both of them like in Sweden before getting into animation. So like I had met both of them just like through comics, just through like, going to comic fairs. Just one year we just decided to do this comic show in Sweden because we knew, I don't know if the Piao Press, Piao we just like we knew the Piao boys and they were like, come to Sweden, and we were like, okay, we'll do this show in Sweden. And we did a table and we tabled in Sweden and like met a bunch of people. And then like years later, I was like, whoa, this is crazy that like we're board partners on the same show. That's like it was like nuts.
That's beautiful. It's kind of like cosmically perfect.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah. So Adventure Time and then Adventure Time Fiona and Cake. Were both of those projects looking for people that had that like cartoonist comic background and were doing, like you said, that sort of writing and boarding?
Yeah, especially the original Adventure Time was very like writing heavy for the board artists. And then Fiona and Cake, we didn't have scripts, but we had pretty detailed outlines, so it felt like, they were giving us like more structure to work with. And also because Fiona and Cake is like it's like complicated multi-story, like a multiverse story, and also by that time like there's so much Adventure Time lore that I'm like really glad that the outlines were more detailed because there's so much like connective stuff in Fiona and Cake that kind of like blows my mind. And like just thinking about like, okay, there's like girl Finn and boy Finn, but then there's also like boy Finn from Farm World, and then also like these other worlds, and just like
So many layers.
yeah, I would just like come home and like think about it and be like, there's so many universes. There's so many versions of them out there.
Fiona and Cake was like such a beautiful story or continuation of Adventure Time that to me was like there were so many deep cuts that it was such a great homage to fans of Adventure Time. And it was also a folk story. Like it was like a modern day folk tale and mythology that is like, who else is doing this? It's fucking beautiful. I loved it.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm very happy to hear that. I feel like a lot of care went into, connecting those pieces and bringing back stories, like all of the lore. It's just like like just connecting all the lore together and stuff. It was. I feel like there's a lot of care put into it. So I'm really glad when like people recognize it and are like, "Wow."
It was amazing. The board that you sequenced, like the intro for one of the episodes, that was so tactile. Like it was like ended up being like almost like a storybook. It was so beautifully done. Like I think you said on your Instagram, like you didn't even expect it to end up looking that way.
Yeah.
But it was like with what's his name?
Alla Flora.
Yeah. It's like the story of Fiona and just being told from the perspective of Prismo, and it's kind of flipping through the pages, and it's just so well done. Like the movement of it, I love it. It's
That was
it's wonderful.
I mean, that was also such a like wonderful. Like I knew Alla was going to animate it, but I wasn't. I was like, I have no idea what this is gonna look like. I was just like, okay, that's awesome. Like I love their work, but I just didn't know what to expect, and I didn't see any like viz dev or anything like that that would like hint at it. And then just like when that clip came out, I was like, it's so beautiful, and it's like it's so nuts. And that kind of honestly, like seeing that animated really inspired me because like before Fiona and Cake, I was doing layouts on another show, but before that I was in the writer's room for like a solid 6 years. So like I was not really storyboarding a whole lot, and I was really nervous. I was like, well, I have a lot of like self confident like I have a lot of doubts in my self-confidence to storyboard in a way that I don't have, when I'm writing or when I'm like doing comics and stuff like that. So like it had been a long time since I had done any really like hardcore storyboarding. And then like yeah, when the episode came out and I saw that animation that they had done, I was like, right, this is like what is so special about storyboarding is that like you get to see your stuff moving, like, and you get to see it like in full color, and it's like it just like looks amazing, and you're like, oh, that's what's cool about animation.
Yeah.
They did like an amazing job on that sequence. Am like I'm so like honored that that was the sequence that I got to work on.
I think it's like a great anchor to the show because I don't know. Without watching any of the other episodes, it really encapsulates what the show ends up being in my eyes. So great job to you and the team.
Thank you. Yeah, I love the idea is that it's like Aster's like sketchbook, or wait, Astrid's sketchbook. Aster is the name of the character from the worm the worm book that I was talking about earlier, but Astrid is the Adventure Time character. And I really like her. I think she's like she just like reminds me of myself as a 12-year-old, just being like, I have I have very strong opinions about, what this story should be. And here it is. And that's like exactly what comic artists and animators start as.
Astrid's on AO3,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're writing Fiona and Cake fanfic for sure.
And she's like front page, like so many kudos or whatever.
Yeah. And then I'm going to ask some final questions, some closing thoughts. But what have you felt like you've learned the most from going from writing and storyboarding and working on all these Cartoon Network shows? What's your biggest takeaway from this process?
I think my biggest takeaway is, I was a comic book artist. That's a very solitary sort of task to do is, if you decide to write, like 40 pages of a comic, you're going to be alone in your house for a long time. And so in animation, it was very like kind of unexpected how much of a team effort it is, how much you're relying on someone else and how much they're relying on you. And I just feel like I can't like go back. Like I really like I really liked being on it. I really like being on a team, and I feel like that's like my biggest takeaway is like, okay, I think I could, go anywhere, do kind of any project as long as it was like, there was a team involved and we were all working together to make something. I don't know, it's just like really, it's a really nice seeing a finished piece of animation and then being like, yes, so and so, like, Angie did that background and that character design, Christina did that character design, and just like, just connecting all the different people that like built it up together.
Yeah. That's my favorite part. Just being like, everyone's so talented.
Yeah. That's why I always recommend like to students, like, just start doing group projects. Like I like this podcast is a really good group project. It gets you two, this is your teamwork. This is your thing that you two are building together. Just get people like communicating with each other and putting out, their your vision together and like supporting each other that way. I feel like that's all you can really do right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then, do you have a question for us, Marv?
Statement. I do love when the socials work,
Like the socials of community being together?
Yeah. It's a joke because I'm a social worker. That was the lead up to the joke that you made and missed. Yeah. As a social worker, I love when the socials work.
Yeah. That makes sense. I was going to ask because I always feel a sense of obligation to ask people who have worked at the Cartoon Network office. I'm assuming you got to go to the building?
Oh, yeah. The original, yeah.
I'm building, I guess, an audio archive. Can you share your favorite memory of the building since she no longer exists?
Oh, I mean, it was just like we would have like like summer barbecues, on the roof every once in a while. And one time like they had people who were working on the shows like were playing in a band together, like Louis Zong and Jeff Lou were like they were just like performing during this lunchtime, and I was like, oh, this is really nice, it's really special. Yeah, I spent a lot of time. They'd always have like a food truck in this alleyway next to the building. Spent a lot of time just like standing next in an alleyway waiting for lunch. Oh, I'm trying to think. It's been so long. It was like we worked in that building for so long, and then the pandemic hit, and then like everyone just like left. And when the pandemic was over, everyone just had to like clean out their offices because it like we were moving buildings or shows were ending. But yeah, we used to just like run around.
That's sweet. I love hearing the stories of the building. They're always very fond and somehow always tie back to food. But you know what? Power to the Cartoon Network studios.
It was like, I mean, food, office food, nothing better. Free office food, so good. Like, I cannot like, maybe one of the biggest things I miss about working in an office, just the random
Not having to
food.
feed yourself.
Yeah. But every day was like, what are we gonna eat? What's in the alley? What is it today?
Was it like rotating?
It would, yeah, because it would just be like trucks would come in, different trucks would come in, and you kind of never knew. I mean, they I think they emailed out like the schedule for the week, and so be like, are we eating at the truck today? Are we going somewhere else?
I love that. I just want a whole little animated show that takes place in the Cartoon Network building, and it's just what we're eating today,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really fun. It's self-indulgent. I never work there.
Yeah. I would want to see the spin-off that's at a university. Me and my coworkers at my previous institution would call it scavenging.
Yes.
We'd like look through all the events to see who was hosting what and like, oh, can I just get a lunch?
Yeah.
Or like catered events, and then what was left over, and you'd have to scour and be like, all right, guys, let's go. And then you have to run and go find get what's left over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great feeling. I think we call it like rat life. Like we're just like little rats like scurrying around. Like
I love that.
Hashtag rat life. And then our final question for you today is: do you have any advice for aspiring writers / storyboard artists?
my advice, just kind of what I was talking about earlier. Just start making stuff with your friends because you can just make it. Like I want to see it. I want to see it. Like someone out there is gonna want to see it. And yeah, I think doing like zine shows and tabling at stuff like that, it just kind of like made me feel like, well, we could just make the thing. Oh, we want to make a book. Let's just make it. I think animation's a little harder because it takes a lot longer, but you can make a comic. Maybe make a little comic of your idea.
Mm-hmm.
Make a comic, make a zine.
Make a comic, make a zine, and just like write every day. I feel like writing every day is kind of, you just got to get into the habit of it.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
That's what they say, and they're right. And it sucks.
That's what they're right, but they're right.
Sucks, but it's true.
What you gonna do? Well, thank you so much for chatting with us. We had the best time.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is really fun.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Do you have anything to plug? Anything you'd like to promote?
I'll hopefully be tabling at RazFest, the Riso Arts and Zine Fest, hosted at Gallery Nucleus. But yeah,
Nice.
come say hi.
See you there. Check out Creature Hour online if you'd like to buy any of Kris's or their partner Arlen's work. Link in the description.
Yeah.
Thanks so much again. Have a lovely rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
That was our conversation with Kris. Say it with me. Another star.
Yeah. I love having fun with a new friend, you know?
Yeah.
Just laughing it up.
Just laughing, having fun. It's great.
Learning about weird, goopy books about vermin. Yeah. I'm
It was
interested.
wonderful. Learning that everyone who worked at Cartoon Network was well fed.
Love to hear it.
They kept them well fed so that they could draw the pretty cartoons.
And you know what? That's a great business model.
I mean, ideally they were well paid and well fed.
It's so true. So true.
But thank you so much, Kris, for coming on our show. We had a great time, and we hope you did too.
Yes.
And you, the listener, I hope you had fun listening.
Yeah. And you, Melissa, thanks for podcasting with me.
OMG, thanks for podcasting with me, Marv. Everyone, please leave a comment on this episode telling us what your favorite episode of We Bear Bear is, or how much you enjoyed Fiona and Cake. Anything you'd like. Or you can leave a comment being like, wow, HBO Max, you should put Summer Camp Island back on the platform. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's food for that. But yeah, leave a comment, leave a review on Apple Podcasts. That would be great. And you can always email us at notonewaypod@gmail.com with your thoughts, comments. Our cover art is by Les. This episode is edited by Marv. And remember,
There's
not
one
right
way
to fall in love with manga and anime and realize you want to make art for the rest of your life.
There's not one right way to use your skills as a comic artist to storyboard for the Adventure Time.
And there's not one right way to attend lots of conventions and table and work on zines to make friends.
Lovely.
Thank you so much for listening.
Bye.
Bye.